Hungry Pony, it's the Ween Unicorn and I have flown back with another video. Today marks the third edition of me talking about animation news, where I talk about newly released or very recently released media in the animation sphere. This can include short talks of recently released movies, recently announced projects, or analysis of new trailers. Quick disclaimer, there is only so much I can talk about when it comes to these kind of videos where I just talk about a bunch of stuff. So if I miss anything, I am either saving it for another animation news video, or on the rare occasion, I would like to go more in depth in a different video. Because usually what I discuss in this series does not warrant a whole in-depth video, it's just a way to get my opinions out there on my YouTube platform. Anyways, enough with the introduction. I want to discuss first two things I discussed in my last animation news video. For those of you who don't know, I briefly talked about Zootopia 2 and the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and since then, I had the pleasure to watch both of them, and I just wanted to give a quick update on my thoughts on these two movies. So, let's start off with those two. Many of you probably already know the discourse surrounding Mario Galaxy as of late. Just like the last Mario movie, there has been some arguments regarding the critical and audience review of this movie, and overall it's just been a complete mess on both sides. Putting both sides of the reviews aside, what did I personally think about this movie? Long story short, I can kind of see the complaints for this movie. Don't get me wrong, I still had fun with the movie. The animation was very pretty to look at, especially the action scenes. Oh my gosh, the animators were genuinely killing it. There were plenty of fun scenes that Mario fans would understandably be swayed to for this movie. My personal favorite was when Mario and Peach passed through Bowser Jr.'s obstacles near the end of the movie, and there were some decent character moments scattered throughout. Keyword though, character moments. For instance, I love the moments between Mario and Luigi. I feel like the movies at least characterize the brothers pretty decently when it comes to showing their individual personalities and their brotherly bonds. Luigi especially, which I might be biased about because Luigi is the best boy. I liked Yoshi and very much appreciated that they didn't make him actually talk, just made him do a bunch of Yoshi noises, which is just how it should be. Peach was still pretty cool this time around, and despite how little screen time Rosalina got, her scenes were very fun and enjoyable. Star Fox was alright, Bowser and Jr. were cool, and you get it, the characters were pretty fun. Despite all of this, however, yeah, the movie is pretty much a jumbled mess. Listen, I made an entire thread about my problems with this movie over on Twitter. Like I said earlier, they had good character moments, but them as characters, I feel like more could have been done. I'll put my thread on the screen so then you can read it, and I'll also link it into my description. Overall, the movie felt a bit incomplete to me. There were several fun ideas presented in the movie, but due to its fast pacing and, like I said, jumbled mess, such as the plot itself especially, the character screen time, and, like I said, most importantly, their arcs, and as much as I completely understood the complaint about Rosalina not being in the story enough, and even fully agree on, I mean, come on, it's the Mario Galaxy movie. So Rosalina should have had more of a focus, or at least have a better emphasis in the story, but what I felt was just as noticeable in falling flat was surprisingly Mario himself. Again, read my Twitter thread for more detailed thoughts, but to summarize, I noticed that Mario lacked an arc in this movie. There was a hint of insecurities he had that were scattered throughout the movie that could have helped him have some sort of development of his own, i.e. his self-doubt when it comes to potentially pursuing Peach, his whole crash out on Bowser after he insulted him before turning big again, or even how his life changed from the first movie now that he's in the Mushroom Kingdom. Hell, that could have served in Luigi's favor too as a character. There are a lot of thoughts I have about this movie since I watched it, and only time will tell if I will ever go more into detail one day about those thoughts. If I ever do, it might be a long time from now due to the tension of the discourse of this movie. TLDR, at least for now, I much prefer the first movie. The second movie was at least a fun watch. If you are a hardcore Mario fan, maybe you'd enjoy it. If you can get past many of its flaws, that is. But for me, I'll give it a 6 or 7. I'm just reading through the script and I just realized I put that in. But yeah, I'm fluctuating between a 6 or a 7 out of 10 with this second movie. The first movie I give a 8 or 9 out of 10 in case you're curious. That's all I'll say for now. On to the next movie. So I also just watched Zootopia 2 recently and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I said in my last animation news video that I sort of soured my own taste for the first Zootopia movie. Not a fault of the first movie at all, I just kind of ruined it for myself by replaying it a bunch of times, which usually doesn't really happen when I obsess over movies. Anyways, I enjoyed Zootopia 2 this time around. The mystery of the movie was great, and I love how it ties into the theme of Zootopia of real life when it comes to the mistreatment of certain groups. The movie, however, had an emphasis on people in power framing the innocent, and at least this time around, I felt it handled the depiction of the powerful rewriting history while outcasting a certain group of people, or rather animals, pretty well. On top of that, I really liked seeing how Judy and Nick developed as not only characters, but within their own relationship as well. They are much more interpersonal in this movie, especially near the climax where they share their feelings about themselves and each other within their friendship. It felt real, and it was their ability to finally be vulnerable with each other that made their friendship feel strong, just by showing how much they mean to each other. I also have to give the movie props for fixing the first movie's biggest problem, their villains, more specifically the twist villain. Everybody and their mothers has probably explained to death why Bellwether fails as a twist villain, so I'm not going to repeat the obvious for the sake of time. When it comes to Pawbert, I feel he was a massive improvement from Bellwether. Even how that reveal was expected was much more realistic. To me, it came across as more realistic as opposed to Bellwether, which I felt came across as rather cliche and maybe even tried way too hard to sound menacing. Not only did we spend more time with him to get to know him as a person, but the movie also had time to plant the seeds for his reveal, seeing as how he is from a family who framed Gary the Snake, his snake family, and even the reptiles as a species. And due to Pawbert not wanting to disappoint his dad, he goes through with the betrayal. So points for the movie for fixing that as well. Speaking of Gary, he's my favorite character of this movie. He is so friendly and just wants the best for his family. The way he always asks Judy for a hug always melts my heart. We love consenting kings here. I love this beaver. Like I said, Pawbert is great. This movie is overly great in general. I totally recommend it. 9 out of 10. First movie I would give an 8. I know I went a bit into spoiler territory this time around, but I still recommend checking it out if you haven't already. For I believe it is well worth your time and serves as a reminder that Disney does still have it in them to make a great movie. Moving on from those movies that I have just watched, let's talk about everything else. So starting off with the Toy Story 5 trailer. So I also talked about this in my last animation news video, but this is a trailer, so this will be quicker, promise. Matter of fact, seeing how everything else in this video revolves around trailers and announcements, everything else should be easy sailing from here. Anyways, now that I watched the Toy Story 5 trailer, I think I can officially take back a little bit about what I said about it initially from the last time. Granted, it's just a trailer, opinions about said movie are still subjected to change, but from what I see, it doesn't look too bad. Looks like it's gonna be a fun time at the very least. So in this trailer, we learned that toys can age, apparently.
Some sort of old man toy?
What? She thinks you're old because you're bald, Woody.
Oh, and Woody is back. He is visiting, obviously, before anyone complained about breaking the continuity. I knew that he was visiting even before the release of the trailer. Toy Story 4 still counted. This is Pixar. They wouldn't forget this crucial detail, you guys. Seriously though, nice to see that Woody's bond with the rest of Andy's toys are still strong, especially with Buzz, cause, well, the two's friendship is like Pixar's most iconic friendship of all time. So it's especially nice to see them again.
Good to see them fighting again.
It sure is.
Potato Head gets it. The plot itself, just like I said the first time, the toys have to deal with Bonnie being attached to technology as opposed to them. Granted, it looks like she is trying to indulge herself with technology because of pressure from her peers, but nonetheless, it's a pretty current situation that this generation is dealing with. Everything else presented in the trailer makes me think that this movie will at least be fun, and the clips of Jessie beefing with this leapfrog tablet is pretty funny. Speaking of Jessie, from what I hear, this movie will have more of a focus on Jessie, which I am all for. Fun fact, this wouldn't be the first time Pixar even focused more on Jessie, seeing as how they portrayed her in this short film, Toy Story of Terror, which I highly recommend watching because I feel like it characterized her very well, and her arc was very well done. I have confidence that they will give her the focus she deserves. When it comes to the movie's comedy, I don't think this movie will rely too much on the boomer style humor of what they think Gen Z is. But like I said, I can only make inferences for now, and as someone who enjoyed the first movie, I just hope that this movie will keep that streak for Toy Story. At the very least, I hope that this movie would bring forth a good time. Moving on to Hoppers, it came out during the release of the last video. I just didn't have much to say on it at the time besides showing that Pixar is releasing an original work. While I still haven't seen it, I still want to go over it because I especially think Pixar's newer projects deserves to be recognized. I might check out Hoppers simply because of how unique it seems comparing to the rest of the Disney lineup. To my understanding, it is a lot more comedic. I mean that in a good way, of course. I'd say people compare it to that of Over the Hedge, and as someone who hasn't seen that movie either, I can only imagine what that implies. But either way, I like when Pixar diversifies its vibes. I remember they did that with Soul and Luca, both movies I have seen and enjoyed. Soul was a lot more thought-provoking when it comes to exploring things of life, while Luca was more slice of life. Both vibes I felt worked pretty well for those movies, so Hoppers having its own approach makes me feel intrigued. Definitely will see it when I get the chance. Unfortunately, this is going to be the shortest entry on this video because, like I said, I didn't really have much to say about Hoppers at the time. And like I said, newer works should be recognized, especially when we're in an age where creativity seems to be struggling right now. So I'm definitely going to give Hoppers a try, and if I'm going to, I encourage you all to give it a try as well. We are just going on a full Pixar streak, ain't we? So one of the movies Pixar has announced is Incredibles 3. Not much to say about it because of the fact that we only have an announcement as of right now. All I'll say is what I hope to see. Seeing as how The Incredibles 2 focus more on the process of making supers legal, I hope this can be a way of going back to the supers' original roots. I don't know about all of you, but I have been really getting into the Incredibles lore lately and the concept of the supers, especially to the past supers that have been killed off in the first movie. You'd think that a proper sequel will explore what really happened to the supers that Syndrome had killed off, while the current supers try to help spread the word about getting out of hiding so then they can help future supers. A third Incredibles can make up for the lost time the Incredibles 2 didn't go into. Not to bash too much on the Incredibles 2, I did enjoy it for what it was, but seeing as how much the first Incredibles set up, I just hope we can focus more on the whole supers versus society after the fact of Syndrome. Like I said, we only have an announcement right now and no official plot synopsis, so we can only make predictions as to what the third movie might entail. If you'll have any predictions, let me know, because I'm genuinely really curious. Another movie that has been announced is Hexed. As of right now, we only have the announcement and the plot synopsis, as well as the character designs which got slandered over on Twitter, but hey. All we have right now, according to the Hexed IMDb page, the storyline follows an awkward teen and her type A mother learn her particularities might be magical powers, transforming their lives and revealing a hidden magical realm. Again, not much to say about this, and seeing how this is an original movie, I cannot predict much since I don't have enough information. All I know is people apparently compared this to The Owl House, or at least that's what I've been hearing over on Twitter, and I just wanted to comment on this, because a lot of what the main character gives off, and even the world reminds them of the world of The Owl House, and from this comparison, people have been making inferences that this could mean and believe that this is another instance of Disney mistreating The Owl House. Listen, there are a lot of movies based on magical settings, so this might seem like a bit of a stretch. Besides, since we don't have all that much information about this film, I don't think we should be jumping into conclusions or slander too much of what we barely know. What I will say is the art for this movie, at least based on the concept art, there is potential that this movie could be great in the animation department at the very least. The overall look gives a very mystical vibe, which in a movie with magic is what you should be going for. However, based on these inferences, I am consciously optimistic. Cautious, but optimistic. So for now, I'm just hopeful that Hex could still offer something positive, but only time will tell. Ladies and gents, we are officially at our third Minions movie. The trailer had been out for a while, and recently, another one had dropped. And holy shit. At least I can say that took guts. Other than that, there isn't much I can say about it. I'm honestly not too excited about this movie. Nothing to do with the fact that this movie does not focus on the main trio from the first two, Kevin, Stuart, and Bob, although it is hard to ignore that change of the norm. But it's mostly due to the fact that I can't seem to determine what this movie is about, whether we follow the original trio or not. I mean, Minions and Monsters? hate to say it, but I feel that Illumination actually has no idea what to do with these movies anymore. I don't think they have for a while if Minions 2 and Despicable Me 4 have anything to say about it. Listen, I made a video about what I feel Illumination's biggest problem is, especially when it comes to Despicable Me. And while I didn't talk about the Minions movies much in that video, I feel the same about those movies too. Illumination seemed to have lost the plot, and based on their other movies, that plot probably won't be very focused in this movie. Illumination had this juggling too many plot points problem for a while. The likelihood of me checking out Minions 3 is slim, but knowing me, I might get curious anyways and check it out. But for now, that decision is still left in the air. So we also got an announcement for a second Kpop Demon Hunters a while back, and as a fan of the first movie, I'm pretty excited. I mentioned in my quick little review of Kpop Demon Hunters that the movie set up a lot of things for a potential sequel to explore. My hope is that the second movie takes advantage of that and tells a just as compelling story as the first. However, even though there is a lot for this movie to explore, there aren't many official concepts or ideas out as of right now. So I'm not going to speculate too much because there isn't much to speculate right now, but just like The Incredibles 3 and Hexed, tell me your predictions and or thoughts below. Personally, I would very much appreciate if Mira and Zoe had a little bit more of a focus and we learned more about them in the second movie, particularly with Zoe because she's my favorite. When it comes to Rumi though, I hope that we get a little bit more into her family dynamic. For example, her father, because it was never stated that her father was dead, just her mom. I was also thinking that they can explore a little bit of Rumi and Celine together. Like, we could see Celine more, see how their relationship has evolved from the first movie, if it has evolved, and see Celine have her own personal growth when it comes to accepting Rumi for who she is. Because she never really did in the first movie. She just disappears after Rumi has her lash out at her, completely justified by the way. So the relationship definitely needs more focus. But like I said, only time will tell, and I can only make predictions as of right now. So I made a community tab about this, being excited of the idea of another Peanuts movie, but just like the past projects, I really can't predict much about it. All I can say is I'm kind of excited to see it, but also a little bit hesitant. First of all, based on the setting that this movie will seemingly take place, I just hope that they don't totally modernize the Peanuts gang. What I mean by that is I hope that this movie will try super hard into being what it's not. I never talked about the first Peanuts movie simply because that topic never came up. I feel like it's one of the only movies that is based on an existing IP that really stayed faithful to it. The original Peanuts cartoon and even comic had more of a cozy vibe, and I really liked that that first movie was, you know, cozy. The children characters acted like normal children, and anytime more sensitive topics or a problem arises between the characters, it always acts realistic and it doesn't talk down to its audience while still keeping in mind that these kids are kids. And I loved how the movie kept those aspects in mind. It was fun, and I felt like it characterized the characters that we knew and loved pretty well. It doesn't try too hard to adapt to the current audience at the time. Keyword at the time, because I know nowadays it's probably going to be a little bit different. But that's the thing that I really liked about it at the time. It just doesn't try too hard to be what it's not. And my biggest hope for the sequel is that it will do the same and not try to adjust itself to fit its newer audience of children, but instead actually just sticks to its own vibe of its own source material. While it's not wrong to adjust yourself a little bit just to adjust to the newer generation, I feel like the Peanuts franchise does its best when it's honest with itself and it does its own thing, its own vibe, and their characters just act like themselves. They don't need to adjust their characters for any reason. Like I said in the beginning, we don't have much to go off of. That's all I can say for now for the Peanuts movie too. Last but certainly not least, we have The Forgotten Island. This is going to be DreamWorks' newest animated movie coming out in September later this year. Quoting this again from its IMDb page, two best friends become stranded on the mystical world of Nakali, where their only escape might cost them their shared lifetime of memories. From what we can see from the trailer, this movie seems to be a lot of fun. This movie takes place and is told by people of the Philippines. I'm not Filipino myself, but it's nice to see that a lot more projects are being told by different people of different backgrounds, so we can get a lot more diversified stories, and really cool stories at that. Just thought I'd mention that because not only is this movie an original idea, but it's also an original idea directed by people who are of a different culture, and it's being presented on the big screen, so we love to see it here. And of course, this sort of diversity in storytelling is worth celebrating. Going back to the trailer, I have to say that the animation's really beautiful. It very much reminds me of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, more specifically when all the characters go onto the wishing star at the climax of the movie, which explains a lot considering how this movie is animated and produced by the same people who made Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So at least to me, from what I can see, this movie seems to be in good hands. The protagonists seem pretty fun, and I really like how they show their friendship in this trailer. The vibe that they are giving sort of gives me the vibe of the friend group portrayed in Turning Red, and maybe even K-pop Demon Hunters to an extent. Just a bunch of gal pals being gal pals. And personally, I love it when girl friendships are portrayed this well on screen. So I'm really excited to see what this movie has to offer in terms of the theming of friendship, and seeing how this movie is going to be about dealing with friendship, how to make that friendship strong even when an obstacle comes your way, or basically the fear of drifting apart in a friendship. It's important to portray this sort of friendship on screen, especially for the younger people, or at least the people who are about the same age of these protagonists will know the hardships in friendships and how to deal with your feelings within them. And my hope for this movie is that it will execute those themes of friendship well. Overall, pretty excited. Definitely will check it out when it comes out.
Listen to me, Risa. I just have one question for you. Who let the dogs out?
No, not right now.
Come on, answer the question. Who let the dogs out?
You suck! I knew it. Who let the dogs out? Too far.
So that was everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Comment down below to let me know your own thoughts about these movies. Have you seen any of these movies? Are you excited for the upcoming movies? Let me know what you think. But for now, that's everything I have to say. Thank you for watching. The winged unicorn has to fly away now. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. Contrary to popular belief, I actually kind of like how they... Contrary to popular belief, Contrary to popular belief... Contrary to... I feel like the movies portray that dynamic pretty decently. What am I, Australian? Okay. This movie looks at least fun. The clips of Jeffy? What the Jeffy. Okay. But like I said, I only can make inferences for now. Really? Oh my god, that was a loud ass door. Oh my god. I just didn't have much to say at the... I just didn't have much to say on it. I just didn't have much to say about Hoppers at the time, showing that... We are just going on a full Pixar streak, ain't we? We are just going on a full Pixar string. Pixar string. Huh. We ain't, oh my god, we're ridiculous.